season have already given us some upsets. Just the inconsistencies with their level of play has been rather worrying, especially as a group ascend team.
But it's not enough to take out Knight. He will be forced to back on. Wait, do flash over the wall, do it! Yeah, baby! We called it! It's just like the end of Split 3 regular season all over again. And Wei's Fist finds the mark once again. Schwinn forcing the flash out of Rook.
And while it is a kill that goes over to Wei, I'm just looking at the mid wave right now. It is in favor of Knight. Schwinn even gets to invade. Rookie never got that recall off, so despite the kill, this is a great start.
This should be a good punish. On does go down because Jue provides a lot of damage on the Nico, but now Schwinn, I don't think he kills Jue. There's still a flash available. Oh! Down strike procced into the whip, becomes lightning. That was clean. But unfortunately now Schwinn is way too deep. So he's going to donate a kill back over to Photic, and he gets a blue buff. Oh boy, PLG, IG already delivering.
A lot of trading, but still, I think BLG are okay
Tier 2
with
boots completed for Knight, so as soon as he gets that role quest completed, he's going to have Tier 3 boots online.
Man,
nice
solo
Q3
kill.
into the all-out. Oh, Soboro. He's going to try to flash over the wall. Nah, he knows that there's no way out of that one. The equalizer does nothing, and yeah, Bin back in Giga Bin form. Rookie about to get solo kill. One more on attack. There we go. The wind-up doing its job, and BLG back in the full court press advantage.
Well, your sololings just won. They just solo killed their own opponents. At the same time, by the way, no jungle assistance. And IG, while all this is happening, are saying, cool, Wei is hitting the dragon. There's not much we could do at that point. That was also level 6 being reached already be here. They're late for this play. They might get 2 on the rebounds afterwards, but I mean, Kasante's just going to trap Rumble.
I think Jue did hit level 6, so they have to be careful about this Pop Blossom engage. They just look for On, and On just gets found out. One of the grubs is secured by Schwinn, but the Pop Blossom deflected by Schwinn! Crescent Guard at the perfect time, and now he dashes back in, forcing the flash out of Jue. Oh my goodness, Schwinn at peak form once again too, and Bin looking for another solo bolo added to the headshot record. Giga
super young. He's a new player. Okay, good. Let's go bully the other player. Let's go bully Jue on the other side of the map here. But Viper was also on a recall there, heading back from base. So that would have been a window where IG could have had numbers advantage. But the mid deficit, this is better for Rookie and at best negligible for Saburo. He knows he's going to lose this turret, and if he walks up to Orianna, he will just get clapped. It's hard for them to connect through mid because IG have been really devoted to getting mid priority right now. So they get this dragon. I think this is a good spike because as IG, your champions are generally going to be... He's going to have 8% of however much gold the Zonia's is. So continuing with that 2,400 gold lead. On's by himself. Thankfully, the portal's going to save him for now.
Does Wei want to continue forward? Tempered Fate onto the main damage dealer. Sees some assist right onto the left, but the shockwave from Knight is there and blows up Wei. Here comes the rest of the BLG reinforcements, and poor IG were lured into a false sense of security and lose 2 in an instant.
If that is a false sense of security, Rafa, then I never want IG guarding my house. We are never letting them around any kind of safekeeping. That is what are we doing? Like, we're overextending. I get it. Congratulations to Viper as well over a 5-year career here in the LPL, or at least a couple of years spending here in the LPL and getting himself.
The 2 members that had a decent amount of gold and were the ones spiking earlier for IG were the 2 members. But ever since then, BLG has just reclaimed control. Oh my goodness, the Ghost, he's gonna run down Rookie. There's Wei over the wall.
Oh my god!
Wei as he comes in with the Vault Breaker, that is just awesome. And now IG in full retreat.
Oh my god, Bin!
With the flash and just pulls Photic right back into him. Oh, this is just pure sexiness coming out of BLG.
That's Knight knowing, alright, cool, so I can do whatever I want in this game. He wanted to test his limits a little bit earlier before. I am willing to say I don't think I've seen Knight flash for most of this game. Didn't use it on the first dive. We are 23 minutes in. I'd be willing to go back in the VOD and check it, but this is probably just another free MVP going over to the man in the mid lane right now. That's a Baron as well.
For IG fans, the consolation prize as they are now at Soul Point. The question is, will they even get a chance to actually claim Infernal Soul? Good dash by Rookie with the Soul Unbound on the Temper Fate, but a flash with the Cosmic Binding ensures that On can slow him down, but Rookie survives thanks to the Immortal Shield Bow. IG's mid laner does get out alive for now. This tier 2 turret can't say the same.
More gold going over to them. Thankfully, IG, like you mentioned, not just the dragon. Saburo does get the bottom lane tier 2, or tier 1, does him, especially because he's held his flash for so long.
Knight does find way in the bottom side jungle. There's a TP coming in. Will Knight be forced to use the flash this time? The shockwave pulls him in. He's gonna almost kill him. He flashes over the Fate Sealed, and he goes golden. I don't think Knight is surviving that one, but man, the aura.
I hope our chat was filled with -1s there, because that was well deserved. that was one of the ones where I was like, yeah, I felt that one. All right, Rafa, no more lollygagging, no more fun to be had anymore. This is the part of the game that matters. This is Invictus Gaming's sole point here. If they can grab this dragon, a failed portal from On, but they're nowhere in position for this.
Rookie goes in with the Soul Unbound way, tries to brute force his way through. Infernal Soul is denied. Now BLG need to reposition themselves and make sure that they are on proper battle lines. Don't want to give IG any freebies. Trying to cut off their paths back to the mid-tier 2. BLG just poking them afar and just maintaining vision control.
So
Fate on the 2. Oh, just shockwave right on there. On top of it, goes for 1, but they're able to use the Seekers to at least get out of there alive. Saburo does survive the engage. There's no more shockwave available, but a GA is expended by Wei, and he's the first one to drop, and now the rest of IG are going to be forced to retreat. Viper steps forward with the Arc of Ruin, does slow down Photic, but not enough damage. And the fact that Shockwave was expended on a Seeker's target there. IG have some relief to be able to step up and contest them.
Oh, I can see some criticism here for Wei for not going in, but he doesn't have the Proto Bell cooldown at the time. He does have Flash. I think that was the best look that BLG would have been able to get after so much invested. They will grab the mid-tier tier 1, but there's a Baron now being threatened here by BLG, and they have no smite. They have no way of getting into this pit. This has to be a massive shockwave. Equalizer's coming off a cooldown now.
Wei's got to be careful, but if he can find a moment, Flash Proto Belt available for a Pop Blossom, he would have to get it onto multiple people. He's going to turn for it, but he gets interrupted on the way in. Schwinn secures the Baron. Equalizer over the top, but BLG members still stand tall with another shockwave right onto multiple members, and IG all hit the floor. BLG secure the Baron, and they're going to push in for the Game 1 win.
They've still got all of this minion wave to deal with. It's just Wei. You know some of the tendencies of some of these players, but do you have the wave clear to save your base? That is yet to be seen. I don't know if BLG are going to end. It seems like they're just going to go for some multiple inhibitor turrets at the very least, get themselves paid, and put this at a 10,000 gold deficit.
The Nexus will not fall just yet, but BLG are doing their due diligence and setting up everything necessary so that the next fight that is won puts them one step closer to closing out this game.
We'll see BLG put the finishing touches on this Game 1.
I think Baron was a honorable mention for BLG because it looked like it stopped on the way of trying to make that Protobell Pop Blossom combo happen. Didn't cast the flash to commit onto Knight. BLG now with the Baron on their side, making the siege. Rookie tries to feint for a Fate Seal, but doesn't pull the trigger just yet. Bin is on the left side, just ready to pressure when the moment calls for it.
So they're going to give up this inhibitor, and they're going to play on this, either this minion wave or the one that's incoming on mid, because that's basically last call for this game. Now, what I would like to see from IG is slowly squeeze the resources out of them. Dragon spawns in a minute, and the longer you can keep them trapped on this side of the base, makes it at least a little bit more palatable to walk into that dragon pit sooner rather than later. That is the Baron falling off in a few moments here.
Viper did pop the ultimate when Transcended. Has GA available. Temper Fate on to 3. Oh, this shockwave is gonna hit! It only only hits onto one. The Zonius was popped by Saburo, but Schwinn is going deep into the backline for IG. Fate Seal from Rookie, decent response, but just not good enough. BLG continue to pin IG back towards the fountain. Look for the last Nexus turret, but Fodic, Wei, and Rookie are going to try for one last Hail Mary before this game comes to a stopping end. And BLG finally do away with all the IG defenders. Wei looks for another vault breaker, and BLG are going to try to pad the KDAs as much as possible, showing that this game was never IG's to be had. GG, well played. If Wei is able to find a couple of windows early on, whether it requires him dropping camps or if it's just him pathing towards the top side of the map, give Saburo much HP, but Wei and Fodic have control of the lane so far. And they're gonna get a decent size crash here on the cannon wave. Deadly Flourish right on top of On. Oh no! That's just a raw 2v2 solo kill.
They needed that all in from BLG's perspective. They get priority on the bottom lane wave, and this is first Dragon going over IG. Wonderful. Okay, sure.
Everything works out in the end for Invictus Gaming. First Dragon secured. Wei already well on his way to picking up a Profane Hydra very soon. Bin.
I was promised some action here.
Well,
Rookie hasn't even lost his flash yet. Like,
hang on. Oh, Wei was waiting in the wings, but Knight flashes away in time, and the cover of Paranoia gives him the necessary means to retreat and a simultaneous play on top side, killing Saburo.
Coming on through. It's a little late now, though, if you think about it. Invictus Gaming already hitting the Dragon. We're stacking early. We are using some of the early priority from either lane matchups or some flipping that's going on, and that's creating it and kind of force the issue. There we go. It gets summoned. They can move it into mid. There's a ton of crystalline overgrowth on this turret, so whoever hits these plates is going to get paid. And now BLG are going to have to be second into the river.
Won't take out the tier 1 turret immediately, but decent damage. And like you said, it gives Invictus Gaming first walk into the river. BLG are going to have to face check into that banana brush. Wei gets briefly spotted. Rookie is over on the right side. Darkness for the rest of BLG. Here comes Sun into the middle of all 5, and Knight is there to follow up on the play. Invictus Gaming did pretty much everything right, but the execution is still going BLG's way. Saburo's trying to wreck house on a Viper, flashes after him, gets the first trade of the kill onto a BLG member. He's going to revive thanks to the passive. Curtain call from Fodic trying to fall on up, and Saburo just can't get it done. Picks up a double onto 2, but the rest of BLG can at least... BLG, the fact that he trades 2 kills ensures that IG do not go home empty-handed, and they can at least try and set up for the Dragon again as we get it in the picture, but Knight has solo killed Rookie on the top side of the map. Knight has TP. He's going to join the fight now. Perfect execution, not available anymore, but he can still try and lend his power into the fight, and Invictus Gaming are dropping like flies. The Grim Deliverance ends up just being a delayed, inevitably end for Saburo, and the third Dragon will finally go the way of BLG.
These last 2 fights have completely ruined IG's game, and BLG now find a 3,000 gold lead. Knight getting a solo kill onto Rookie. He teleports into that play, and then we get a massive bullet time. Now they'll get the Dragon. They'll get all 4 of those kills, and potentially 2 turrets in mid and bottom lane here. That is a massive influx of gold going over to Bilibili.
Fodic's got to be careful. He does have flash and barrier available, but he's trying to use his pressure as much to try and stop that tier 1 turret from falling. Unfortunately, he cannot
put their game in jeopardy now.
And listen, it is a tall task to try and coordinate a fight when you don't have vision from the Paranoia. And unfortunately, Saburo is going to get a taste of darkness once again.
Still, they're kind of reaching some high highs. I'm not going to say it's that impressive to see them solo killing Rookie and Saburo, especially this early on in the season. And from what we've seen from IG, it doesn't seem like it's that impressive.
Oh no! Well, Dway had to go hunting for some vision and laid down, just ruined Viper and On in the laning phase and made it very difficult for them to try and get ahead and get any semblance of push.
Oh, is Akali going for it? Oh, we're doing this.
Oh boy. Well, supreme display of talent did momentarily stun a couple members, but the perfect execution.
Because his Demacia Cup resume, we came in thinking that he might be the big carry for this team, and we have seen none of that so far this season.
There's been only a couple of performances in and there off of the Oh my goodness!
Jesus Christ, man!
Well, so, you know, the early game was a bit quiet for BLG and Knight in particular, but he was just biding his time. And now that he has a effective 3,000 gold advantage and Shadow Flame, Hextech Gunblade working towards a Zonya's Hourglass, yeah, this guy is running train on anyone that walks into his side lane.
You get one. That's all I'm going to say. You get one. All right. Rafa, you know what I am going to say? This game's game. It turns out having point-and-click slows is not great. Click. So either we make it a skill shot in my mind, which I don't think Riot is going to do, or we have to tap some of the stats on this. Like, 80 AP is pretty ridiculous, especially for a 3,000 gold item.
Oh boy, well, that was a lot of damage on Schwinn, but he's got a GA, so he's totally fine if he just wants to send it in there for the boys.
Oh!
Come on! That's the Alistar gameplay I've been waiting for you from all this second game. Ben is going to route off the escape pass of a couple members. Wave desperately trying to get away from this massive Scion, and Rookie just expended his Scatter of the Week, so you know that Viper's flashing on him all day, every day. IG only down to 2 members, and BLG know that it's time to rip this Baron.
Yep, let's go take the big purple worm. Let's move it in so we can start to finish out this game. BLG, bit quieter early game, and that's the big misconception I want people to get away from, is there are going to be a lot of games that BLG are going to win this year by just having the best laners in the league, but what I've seen from them in some of these games has been incredible to watch, and we're going to see another mechanical display.
Oh my god. Knight is just pub stomping on IG corpses, continuing to aura farm for the montage, and I'm sure that the LPL official TikTok and Instagram is going to have a hell of a time going back through this series and just farming highlights for Knight's montage plays as Sabor now steps up with Rookie behind him, trying to see if they can damage this guy. But here comes Swin, looks for Photic in the backline, says, I'm sorry, Jim, but you don't have flash and you're not surviving. Rookie does expend the GA from this Nocturne, but he flashes away from the force of will, and Saboro tries to step on up, but a good sidestep from Schwinn, forcing him to use the Grim Deliverance. Clean use of the perfect shuriken backflip into the perfect execution. My goodness, BLG just all here for the style points. A 5-man push. Way alongside Dway. I don't know if they're going to be enough. On is going to hold them at the door. Supreme display of town on the 2, but Schwinn just blocks it with a spell shield, gets even more attack speed so he can finish this game out faster. And BLG with a clean sweep over IG.
A 30-minute win, 20-3. Remember, we started